Me right now, it's gravy right now, you feel me saying? But I'm on there, you understand me? All this shit is me. I got all this shit in isolation.
James Adarryl Tapp Jr., known professionally as Soulja Slim, was a prominent figure in New Orleans hip-hop scene during the late 1990s and early 2000s. Born on September 9, 1977, in the Magnolia projects of New Orleans, he began his music career under the moniker Magnolia Slim. His raw and authentic storytelling quickly garnered attention, leading to a contract with Master P's No Limit Records. In 1998, he released Give It To 'Em Raw, which debuted at number 13 on the Billboard 200, solidifying his place in Southern hip-hop. Despite his musical success, Soulja Slim's life was marred by legal troubles and personal struggles, including battles with drug addiction and incarceration for armed robbery. After parting ways with No Limit Records, he established his own label, Cutthroat Committee, and continued to produce music that resonated with his community. In 2003, he collaborated with Juvenile on the track Slow Motion, which posthumously became a #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. Tragically, on November 26, 2003, Soulja Slim was fatally shot 4 times, 3 times in the face and once in the chest, on the front lawn of his mother's home in the Gentilly neighborhood of New Orleans. He was 26 years old. Police arrested 22-year-old Adarryl Smith in connection with the murder after ballistics tests matched a weapon found in Smith's possession to the bullets that killed Slim. However, due to a lack of willing witnesses, charges were dropped, and the case remains officially unsolved. Soulja Slim's death underscored the pervasive issues of violence and silence within communities plagued by crime. His influence on Southern hip-hop endures, with many artists citing him as a significant inspiration. His life and untimely death continue to be subjects of discussion and analysis in the music industry and beyond. Several factors combined to leave Soulja Slim's murder officially unsolved. Police arrested 22-year-old Adarryl Smith on December 31, 2003, after finding a stolen police pistol with a scratched-off serial number in his possession. Ballistics testing linked that weapon to the 4 fatal shots that killed Soulja Slim on November 26, 2003. No witnesses were willing to come forward or testify against Smith, including those who may have witnessed the shooting, due to fear of retaliation and a pervasive no-snitching code in the neighborhood. Under New Orleans's expedited prosecution statute, often called the 60-day law, prosecutors must indict or formally charge a suspect within 60 days of arrest. Without cooperating witnesses, the district attorney could not meet that deadline for Smith. As a result, charges were dropped and Smith was released back into the community. Smith was rearrested in later years on suspicion of other murders, but each time the cases collapsed for the same reason, lack of willing witnesses, and he was again released. By 2008, Smith's alleged involvement in multiple shootings, including Slim's, had all become cold cases. In August 2011, Adarryl Smith himself was found shot to death in the same Gentilly neighborhood of New Orleans. With the prime suspect deceased and no new evidence or eyewitnesses emerging, law enforcement closed the file, and Soulja Slim's murder remains officially unsolved. Despite a strong ballistic link to a prime suspect, the combination of community silence, procedural deadlines without sufficient evidence, and the suspect's own death prevented prosecutors from ever securing a conviction, leaving Soulja Slim's case tragically unresolved. The streets of New Orleans were quiet the night Soulja Slim was gunned down, but in the days that followed, the silence turned into a storm. Fans, family, and fellow artists mourned the loss of a voice that had spoken directly from the belly of the Magnolia projects, unfiltered and unapologetic. Slim wasn't just another rapper. He was New Orleans personified, and his death felt like the city had lost a piece of its soul. The music industry responded with tributes, lyrics, and pain. Slow Motion, Slim's collaboration with Juvenile, dropped months after his death and became a Billboard #1 hit, the first posthumous chart topper since the Notorious B.I.G. It was a bittersweet victory. Soulja Slim never got to see his mainstream breakthrough. He had been right there, on the edge of something bigger than the streets he came from. Meanwhile, in the neighborhoods where his name rang bells, a cloud of fear and retaliation loomed. Many people knew who did it. The streets whispered the name Adarryl Smith even before police picked him up. But no one was talking, not because they didn't care, but because they knew how New Orleans worked. Snitching wasn't just dangerous, it was fatal. People kept quiet and the case crumbled. Smith himself would go on to become a ghost of justice, arrested repeatedly for violent crimes, walking free each time as witnesses disappeared or stayed silent. He was allegedly linked to at least 5 murders, including Soulja Slim's, but never spent a day in prison for them. In 2011, karma, or street justice, caught up. Smith was found shot to death in the same neighborhood where Slim died, closing the cycle in blood. To this day, Soulja Slim's name lives on in murals, mixtapes, and tattoos across the South. His influence is clear in the raw, autobiographical style of artists like Boosie Badazz, Kevin Gates, and NBA Youngboy. But his story is also a cautionary tale about loyalty, silence, street code, and the price of keeping it real in a city where even legends aren't safe. No one was ever convicted. No one ever will be. The case is cold. The streets are colder, and life goes on for the people of New Orleans.